Straightforward conversations, no filters, beyond the headlines, just the facts. This is the Newsmaker. Thank you for joining Newswatch Plus. I'm Tristan Odalo. The government slams China's dangerous maneuvers and unlawful interference during a Coast Guard resupply mission in Scarborough Shoal. The Foreign Affairs Department said Beijing's actions not only endangered Philippine personnel but also resulted in the collision between its warship and Coast Guard vessel that were about to corner a Philippine Coast Guard ship. Today's Newsmaker, we have PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Tarriela. Commodore J, thank you so much for your time.
Hello Tristan, thank you for having me.
Okay, Commodore J, simulan ko na po doon sa katatapos nyo lang na press briefing. I understand na nagsagawa po ng Maritime Domain Awareness Flight ang PCG today. Tell us sir, what have you discovered based on this latest activity na ginawa po ng PCG?
Thank you Tristan. Ang Philippine Coast Guard, sa pag-uutos ng ating Commandant Admiral Ronnie Hilgaban, has dispatched PCG caravan aircraft. As a matter of fact, may mga kasama tayong media personalities on board to join the MDA flight. During the flight, we were able to document the presence of two U.S. Navy vessels. Ito yung USS Higgins and the USS Cincinnati. Ang approximate distance nito from Zambales when we did the MDA flight was roughly around 100 nautical miles. At the same time, we also monitored the presence of 4 China Coast Guard vessels, 5303, 4202, 3502, and 5306. It is worth noting na hindi na natin nakita itong China Coast Guard 3104, the one that was damaged due to the collision with the PLA Navy last Monday. The Coast Guard caravan aircraft was also subjected to dangerous maneuver of a PRC J-15 fighter aircraft. As a matter of fact, ito ay lumapit sa PCG caravan at a lateral distance of only 500 feet and passing overhead at a distance of 200 feet.
Okay.
And then sa aming MDA flight, we also documented the presence of 2 PLA Navy warships.
Okay. Sir, going back muna dito sa mga naging nakita ng Philippine Coast Guard, yung dalawa pong US Navy ships, kailan pa po sila dumating doon sa area and is this a first time na nangyari po na may dalawang US Navy warships na naispatan po doon sa Zambales?
Well, I don't really have the exact details of the arrival netong dalawang US Navy warship. But it was only through the MDA flight that we were able to see them this morning.
Okay. But for the Philippine Coast Guard, ito pong presence ng two US Navy warships, ano pong interpretation natin dito? Will this help at least to pacify the situation, especially yung pagdating po nila parang just days after nagkaroon ng collision last Monday between two Chinese vessels and nagka-encounter din po with Philippine vessels. So, yung presensya po ba ng US warships doon ay could help pacify the tension in the area?
Well, first of all, Tristan, I don't want to correlate the ongoing FONOPS operation of the US Navy with what had happened last Monday. This might be, it might have a different mission objective. But just to respond to your question as to how it will support the position of the Philippine government. Well, obviously, the freedom of navigation patrols being conducted by the US Navy is actually a direct challenge of the invalidated and illegal claim of the People's Republic of China in the entire South China Sea.
Alright, at least nagkakaroon po ng assertion na this is international waters and pwedeng magsagawa ng freedom of navigation, sir, yung ibang mga bansa. Now, another point na na-mention po doon sa report ng Coast Guard is yung naganap na dangerous maneuver naman po ng Chinese fighter jet. Gaano po serious itong ginawa po ng China naman while the Philippine Coast Guard is doing a maritime domain awareness flight?
Well, ang distansya naman nila, no, lateral distance away from the Coast Guard aircraft was roughly 500 feet. But what made it very dangerous is that it has very inconsistent path, no? Minsan nagmamaneuver siya sa left side of the aircraft, minsan right, minsan overhead, minsan sa ilalim. So this kind of maneuvering is very dangerous because it confuses, no, the pilot of the aircraft kung saan siya pupunta.
And syempre po, 'di ba, from sea to air, yun din po yung isa nating binabantayan. And at the same time, pwede rin pong mag-cause ito ng untoward incident kung talagang magiging mas aggressive po sila.
Yes, ilang beses na nating sinabi, every time we deploy aircraft or even Coast Guard vessels, we all need to adhere to the existing rules and regulations, particularly those regulations that talk about safety. Otherwise, another incident might happen again, just like what happened last Monday, no? The accidental collision between the PLA Navy and the Chinese Coast Guard.
Etong dangerous maneuver sa airspace, sir, ay would this be part of your report para po magkaroon ng corresponding diplomatic actions din yung NMC or DFA?
Well, again, on the part of the Coast Guard, it's only our job to document all these operations on the tactical level and then forward this to the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea. And it's up to the other concerned government agencies who are also part of the National Task Force to recommend whatever the policy decision will be.
Okay. Sir, going back on Monday's incident, nandun pa po ba yung China Navy ship at China Coast Guard ship na nagbanggaan following that incident? And yung presence po ng Philippines, bumalik po ba yung BRP suluan doon sa area?
Well, the result of the MDA flight this morning showed wala na dito ang presensya ng China Coast Guard 3104, the one that was heavily damaged because of the collision, and of course the PLA Navy 164. So isa ito sa objectives natin why we did the MDA flight this morning. No, we wanted to check on the damaged China Coast Guard kung ano na ang nangyari sa kanya.
Okay. And you have Senator Ping Lacson saying na may dalawa daw pong Chinese Coast Guard personnel na killed in the collision. Does the PCG have any information on this?
Well, with regard to the Coast Guard, as to the official confirmation from the part of the Chinese Coast Guard and the Chinese Embassy or the Chinese government, we don't have any knowledge about that. But based on our initial assessment, no, the reason why we even asked, we even offered our assistance is because we know for a fact that there were 4 personnel right in front of the vessel before it collided with the PLA Navy warship. So we are really concerned as to the condition of this 4 China Coast Guard personnel.
Okay. Sir, after the incident, meron din nakita po kasi yung damage doon sa mga barko ng China. Inalis na po ba nila yun, sir, yung barko nila doon, yung Coast Guard vessel that was extensively damaged by the collision?
Yes, wala na ngayon sa vicinity ng Baho de Masinloc itong 3104 and also the PLA Navy warship 164. No? Ito yung dalawang barko na nasangkot sa banggaan no nakaraang Lunes.
Alright. And nag-deploy na po ba tayo, sir, ulit ng other Coast Guard ships? Apart from the MDA, are we planning to deploy again Coast Guard vessels dito po sa Scarborough?
Well, alam mo, Tristan, no? Ang BRP Teresa Magbanwa remains to be off the coast of Zambales. No? Ito ang naiwan na barko natin na nagpapatrolya pa rin sa vicinity ng BDM. Na pupunta rin sa Pangasinan and even in Zambales, no? With the main objective of protecting and ensuring the safety of our Filipino fishermen.
Okay. For a time, sir, just to go back a bit, nung nagkaroon na po ng banggaan, yung mga Chinese forces po ba ay still kinontinue pa rin yung harassment sa Philippine vessels at that time?
Yes, based on the longer video that I publicized 2 days ago, makikita mo dito yung PLA Navy warship that after it collided with the Philippine China Coast Guard vessel, it still pursued and tailed the BRP Suluan.
Talagang ano po, hindi pa sila natinag nung sa nangyaring insidente. But given po itong
Yes.
nangyari na pong collision between a Chinese warship and a Chinese Coast Guard vessel, si AFP Chief Romeo Bronner brought the idea na nagva-violate naman na po talaga ang China doon sa naging 2012 agreement sa Scarborough Shoal na dapat walang gray ships. So sabi niya, kailangan i-rethink ulit ng Pilipinas yung strategy nito pagdating sa Scarborough Shoal. So will the Coast Guard welcome if ever mag-decide ang government to send also its gray ship in the area?
Well, as what the Commander has mentioned, we always adhere to the guidance and decision of our Commander-in-Chief. So whatever will be the decision of the President, definitely will the Philippine Coast Guard will support and adhere to.
Alright. And after this incident, na ilang beses na rin po kayong natanong on possible retaliatory attacks from China, na baka dahil nga po yung nangyari yung collision, and you've repeatedly say na hindi dapat ang masisi dito ay ang Pilipinas, because like what the Chinese Foreign Ministry kept on saying, that the provocative actions of the Philippines ang root cause daw po ng tension dito sa Scarborough Shoal.
Well, alam mo, Tristan, no? The same thing. I don't think that the Philippine Coast Guard has to be blamed about this incident. In the first place, for so many years already, no? Every time that there are incidents in the West Philippine Sea, we have been warning the Chinese government that such bullying behavior and professional acts, aggressive actions in the West Philippine Sea, conducted by the China Coast Guard vessels and Chinese maritime militia, would eventually lead to a maritime incident. That's why we always call on the China Coast Guard to adhere to the rules of the road and the collision regulation para hindi mangyari itong mga banggaan na ito. Therefore, it is not the Philippine Coast Guard to be blamed, but it is actually their own vessels who choose to carry out such dangerous actions that led to the accident.
Alright. And we will continue to monitor the developments po dito sa Scarborough Shoal, lalo na't dito po nagkakaroon ng insidente recently. But sir, magpapatuloy yung mission ng Coast Guard to aid the fishermen? Hindi naman po sila natatakot with their safety because of the recent incidents?
Well, as what the President said during his press conference last Monday, the Philippine Coast Guard will still maintain our patrols. We're still going to deliver the commitment of ensuring the safety and security of the Filipino fishermen. We're not going to be deterred despite for a smaller and lesser number of Coast Guard vessels. Our white hulls will remain to patrol the entire vast sea of the West Philippine Sea.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Tarriela. Sir, thank you po for granting this interview.
Maraming salamat, Tristan.
And we will continue to deliver just the facts and the news you need. Until our next Newsmaker, I'm Tristan Odalo.